what I really enjoyed is that you have everything from what I think are really funny, enjoyable, lighthearted topics to really serious, profound moments. I mean, I can remember listening to I think it was Father Ken's one on healing.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting in my car. It's like, whoa, this is like I'm entering a moment of prayer by listening to this, and I was just expecting three idiots and a priest. So like
that's our subtitle. Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Beatitudes. Welcome to the greatest, coolest show on earth. I don't even know how to describe this.
Yeah. Take that, Barnum and Bailey.
Welcome to my favorite podcast.
Yeah, they went under, so we got it.
We're going over.
That's it. So we get to claim that title. Greatest show on earth. That's us now. That's ours.
Welcome to the circus.
So speaking of the circus, we are the Beatitudes. This is a show for Christian men who are seeking to grow in their walk with the Lord, but at the same time to understand that authentic fraternity is at the core of how we experience that community together in humorness, holiness, where the leaven and the levity and everything in between. My name is Jeff Scheffelbein. I'm happy to be here with my co-host, Nicholas Besner.
Hey.
He's always got a curveball for
I'm
you.
excited.
And Paul Kolker.
Well, hello.
Howdy, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh my gosh, excited. We got a doubleheader tonight, but we're starting off with a grand slam. Like this is our first swing, and we brought in Rob Hayes.
it's a bunt single.
Sacrifice.
Wait, though. You made it on base. A bunt single is actually pretty
true.
hard to do.
Did you said humorness in the intro.
We just make up words.
I'm stuck on humorness.
Do you feel it?
I do.
Humorness
It is the circus. I get it.
It's also like the sweatiness that starts to rub on your arms by sitting this close to men under hot lights.
Jeff, you have a way with words.
A gift.
Rob, welcome to the show. Been trying to book you for a while now. It's pretty awesome that you somehow
I
gave
play hard
in.
to get. I just play hard to get.
What has been your experience with this? Is self-appreciating, not self-deprecating per se. What has been your experience with the Beatitudes for first-time listeners? Somebody's just now tuning in. What can they expect if they go back and listen to previous Beatitudes?
Well, it's a mix of a lot of different things. I think that's actually what makes your show really interesting. It's not predictable.
That's mostly
also,
Jeff.
It's also not
while I'm drinking coffee.
It's also not consistent. Not in
the quality.
Not in the quality. You got me before I could say it.
Yeah.
Not in the quality, but it has a lot of variety. And so what I really enjoyed is that you have everything from what I think are really funny, enjoyable, lighthearted topics to really serious, profound moments. I mean, I can remember listening to I think it was Father Ken's one on healing.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting in my car. It's like, whoa, this is like I'm entering a moment of prayer by listening to this, and I was just expecting three idiots and a priest. So like
that's our subtitle.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we should pull out of a hat Rob's show for show number 1 is going to be a cry fest, or it's going to be completely unpredictable off the wall, but we'll just see where the Holy Spirit takes us. So, Rob, we've known you and known of you for a while. You are one of my favorite, I would just say, community leaders in the North Texas area, and I'm sure far beyond, but you do such a great job of bringing people together to have conversations around faith, work, formation, understanding even the roots of kind of the philosophy, the history, the modern kind of struggling with everything.
Bringing the Catholic social teachings to a business problem.
Oh, yeah. And I just want to say thank you for that. But for anybody listening, can you tell us a little bit about, what is Rob's work world today? What are you doing?
Like professionally work?
Yeah, let's start there.
Let's start there. So I'm in the hotel business. So I've been in the hotel business for nearly 2 decades.
You look 28.
I do not. You can see this for those on YouTube. You can see the gray part of this beard.
Well, it's obscured by the mic.
It is.
So
Maybe that makes me look a little bit younger.
There you go.
So we own and operate hotels all over the U.S. So everything from high-end Ritz-Carltons all the way down to Fairfield Inns on the side of the road in Indiana and everything in between. So we own them. We operate them. I run a public company, and there's lots of pros and cons of being a public company CEO. There's mostly downside, but but there's some upside.
Before you could get any of those hotels, did you have to trade in 4 houses?
Yeah, there was no one with a monocle that I traded.
Oh. Did you get $200 every time?
No.
Roll doubles
There
or
was
whatever?
none
Okay.
of that.
All right.
None of that.
All right. That's my sole understanding of the hospitality world.
Well, and I'm with you because I thought it was really interesting in late 2020 when they rolled out Monopoly COVID edition. And
Wait,
it was just a bunch of black all over the board.
Yeah, the board's on fire. You set the board
Everyone
on fire.
goes to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. That's every card.
It says, "Don't pass go. What are you doing outside?"
Stop rolling the dice. Stay
It's just
home.
bankruptcy. Bankruptcy.
Social distancing. Withdraw 200 from your account.
Okay, we're jumping way.
The
ahead.
government stimulus.
Where did you get an education so that you could enter hospitality, or you stumbled your way into this industry?
No, I am not a hotel person. I mean, there's kind of hoteliers who grew up in the industry and they were, a sales director or worked at the front desk and worked their way up. I was not that. I was a finance guy who happened to know someone who had helped start the company, and I was young. He needed a finance guy to be his right-hand man, and so I think my first title was senior financial analyst, and that was 18 years ago.
Does Texas A&M, this is a legit question, have a strong hotel management program? I think I
Yes.
know this. Like, I think I've met a bunch of people down there.
Yes.
Is it a hotbed of recruiting?
I mean, then we would have to take Aggies, right?
Woo!
Isn't
You
that
know you're
the-
surrounded
I know,
currly.
I know. I see the rings.
Let me tell you something. There's a helmet above you that's out of the screen, but if I shake this enough, it's designed to fall.
No, that's the biggest risk to this whole thing. Is like a room of Aggies, and I subject myself to it on purpose.
But wait, your background then? What illustrious school did you go to for sports?
It's a East Coast school in New Jersey that you might have heard of.
Worcester Polytech?
No, not Worcester Polytech. It was a little school. And it's funny because we're in the offices here. There's a guy that we know who's runs an office company that we're all here. And he spends his life goading me to talk about the school I attended because he thinks it's so pretentious and obnoxious.
I got to say, how do you come out of Princeton, or what's happening
Whoa!
there now? Hey,
Okay. All right.
that was a compliment to you.
So I now know that I'm going to get texts and emails from my friend Flip Howard, who's going to say, "Oh, you couldn't make it throughout your show without mentioning Princeton."
But let's say this. Maybe if it gets bad enough, he can give us a couple months of free rent
Yes.
on the actual space that we're in
Yes.
in his office building.
That would be great.
Wait, tell me about the faith at Princeton. Was it strong for you while you were there? Was there a strong community? I'm serious.
No,
about
it was
that.
great, and it actually is ongoing.
Yeah.
While, yes, a lot of these universities are struggling in their culture and maybe not politically agreeing or morally agreeing with a lot of the stances that those of us at this table might take,
Sure.
there is an enclave there that's very, very strong. I mean, what happens in a place like that is if you make a stand for what you think to be true, you're going to be opposed and you're going to be challenged. And there's a lot of extremely intelligent people that have better arguments in many cases than you do. And so you're forced to dig in. You're forced to really learn how to pray. And so the Aquinas Institute is the group that's at Princeton. And I'm still involved with it. And it's great. It's a wonderful place. And it's also a place where the Protestants and the Catholics work really closely together as well, because it's this community of Christians, and we try to work together.
I think I probably misquote every pope and everything there ever was, but I think it was Benedict that said, expect a smaller, stronger church. And the stronger comes from, if you're going to stand up for something and be attacked, whether that's physically or in a just mental joust, probably ought to know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, and I think you're seeing the same thing at St. Mary's at A&M, which is maybe the most vibrant Catholic college community.
There you go.
I'll give you some props. I don't hate the place.
For those of you on YouTube, he cried a little bit when he admitted this, though.
No, it was great. but there's an opportunity, I think, for colleges and universities that, in some sense, the crazier the world gets, I actually think the offer that the church has and our Lord offers to people is, here's sanity amidst the insanity.
Yeah, when there's no end to like an insane maybe thread that gets pulled, sometimes you want it to go to the extreme because then that's where the right setting kind of happens. Like you think of the Cristeros War in Mexico. Once it got so brutal that kids are being paraded down the streets and massacred, but they're staying strong to their faith, like those were the things that changed that culture because people are like, whoa, I was for this until it became this out of whack. So I do not want to sign up for that martyrdom. I'm happy to just sit here on a podcast, the greatest podcast in the world.
Yes. We declared it.
It's happening. Tell me more about the setup today. Like what is the size? And I'm not going to put you in any weird spots. You're a publicly traded CEO, and you got all this stuff. What is the size of this organization you're running? You say you got all these different hotels. I mean, what are we talking? Thousands of people?
Well, it's interesting the way that we're structured. My company actually has 0 employees.
I like this.
Right, so it's
except for if you're one of my employees listening, you're pretty cool.
Yeah, the guy who just hired like 4 people.
I'm building culture with no employees.
You're really good at this culture thing. 100% satisfaction.
Culture's easy when nobody else is with you.
No payroll. Amazing.
Best place to work and not work.
So that part of the business, we have 0 employees. So we own, call it plus or minus 100 hotels, 22,000 rooms. But we also then have an operating side of the house, which there's a different person that runs that business. And that has, I think right now, maybe somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000 employees around the country. And so they're the ones physically operating the hotels.
You make sure to say bye to that person as you're leaving
I do.
at
I
3 o'clock
give
every
them
day.
a big hug every day.
My company's doing great. How you doing? See you later.
We got 100 or plus or minus hotels. I don't know what you're doing over there. Well, good deal. Well, talk to me about the, to be very frank here, what happened with this shutdown? You were in what position in the company? What did that look like? How did you navigate? And just whatever you can share, I think you probably went through one of the most public battles during all that time.
It was something. I was one of the officers of the company. I had a made-up title called Chief Strategy Officer, which was just everything. Things fell to me. It was just fill in the gaps. And so our CEO at the time, I guess this was in March, April of 2020. Well, our revenues. So we were pre-COVID almost a $1.5 to $2 billion revenue company. So our revenues dropped 93% in March and April of 2020. So that's not good for those of you that are not in business. And if you don't know business, your
you
revenues
needed to grow a lot more than 93% to get back.
Yes, that's really bad. And so with that, the only way to survive was to also furlough 90-something% of our employees. And so we were running literally 700 room hotels with 3 people.
Yeah.
Because we can't pay them, you got no money coming in. So it was, and in that situation, our CEO at the time decided to step aside. And so I get a call from the chairman of the board saying, hey, would you consider taking this role?
What do you think about dumpster fires?
Right. Well, no, and it was not just here's a dumpster fire. It's like here's a dumpster fire full of little dumpster fires
rolling down a hill towards people.
Towards a dumpster fire. But I tell you what, it was a very that moment I can still remember it. I told him, give me a little time to think about it, and I called my father. And my dad my parents are alive. They live here in the Dallas area, and my dad had been in the oil and gas business. And he went through a bankruptcy and carnage in the 80s when oil crashed. And so I called him up, and I'm walking him through, Dad, here's the situation. We have no money. All of our hotels are being foreclosed on. We actually also had a bunch of reputational issues. We had PPP loans that we had said that we were going to take. Next thing you know, we're on the front page of the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Right? It was like we were the evil people.
Wow.
It was all kinds of things, reputational risk. And so I walked my dad through all this, and I said, Dad, should I take this, or I can go find something else? I mean, maybe I can help Scheffelbein start a new company or something. There's a lot of things I could do. And his response to me was, you do not know how envious I am of you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, Dad, you're not listening. You're not listening to me,
Remember the
Dad.
bad things I just
do you remember
said?
all the things I just told you? And he said 2 things to me. He said, one, first thing is you can't learn this in a book. The only way you learn to go through is to go through this. And the second thing he said is every businessman has to stare into the abyss once in their career to figure out what they're made out of. And I was like, fine, you're right. You're always right, Dad. And so I decided to take it. Now, the past 3 years of doing it have been very difficult and brutal. And frankly, I haven't achieved all the things that I would like to. I mean, there's been a lot of other headwinds. But we're still here. We avoided bankruptcy. We are still kind of alive and kicking. And so I still have a lot more work to do. But I am very grateful for it because you can't learn how to navigate terrible things unless you do it.
Well,
and so
the solution to a dumpster fire is just add oil.
Just burn it brighter, son.
Yeah.
Let your dumpster fire. No.
That's an incredible story, though. Just the fact that, I mean, first of all, the beauty of the relationship with your dad, and in that moment of him stepping in and saying, no, hold on, this is your moment, and take it, and then, and then you actually following through with that and having the courage to look into the abyss there. That's incredible.
Well, and it's been a test in a lot of ways because it also then led to things like so much stress. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, and yet this was the first time in my career that I dealt with panic attacks and deep anxiety of knowing that the decisions I'm making are impacting thousands of jobs, and are we going to be going bankrupt and everything just gets wiped away, and all of my own personal wealth is getting wiped, and all of these things, and so therefore, what does it mean to wrestle with those questions? And I was very fortunate to have friends, including guys in this room, encouragement, formation, and even things like if you've ever seen Dr. Kevin Major's Optimal Work program. He's a guy at Harvard who has this great program about how do you manage anxiety and stress. And so there's a variety of different things that were very formative to me to help me navigate that.
How did you deal going through that from sticking through your prayer life, your balance, your faith? How do you do that with that much stress? I mean, I got to imagine sleep is hard to find, and when you do, you can feel your heartbeat in your throat because that's the time your brain's racing and your hands aren't moving, It's
Yes,
and when you wake up, you think, well, these are the 50,000 things I need to do. Like, I'll get to prayer, maybe.
Yeah. How'd you make it through that, and what tips do you have for people that might be feeling that right now?
Well, I think the best tips are you have to build the habits before it even happens, right? You've got to do the work now so that when it does happen, you're ready for it, because you can't in that moment decide, oh, now that everything's burning down around me, now, I'm going to spend some time in prayer. Like, you're not, your habits aren't there. And so I've been fortunate in that some of my own background, and I have been, as you know, I have gotten a lot of formation through Opus Dei in my life, and a lot of that is how do you build this plan of life? How do you build a spiritual game plan so that you are striving to try to go to Mass on a regular basis. You are trying to do prayer every day, whether it's the rosary or mental prayer or spiritual reading or all these things. And so you're building the structure around you, and your commitment is, I'm trying to live this every day, right? In season, out of season. And what I found in that world, and again, I think it was a grace that I received, was I realized I can't make it through the day if I don't live this. Like, it was the only way to keep myself together. And so it was kind of forced. But fortunately, I had built up enough habits to make it kind of through that.
You're reminding me of some of the readings that we heard before Advent, where it's the traders who are, or the people who are given like 5 coins, 2 coins, 1 coin.
The talents.
Right? And they have to go trade and make more. And then when they do, the Lord says, or at least the king in the scenario, the property owner says, because you have been faithful in small matters, now I will set you as a lord over a city or over 5 cities and that sort of thing. So you're basically saying that by doing these small things ahead of time, you were prepared for kind of the chaos that ensued. That's pretty cool.
Can I ask a very granular question, talking about habits and people listening to this? There's a lot of people who maybe have attended daily Mass, but it's not part of their routine. Like, what does that look like for you today, and what did it look like for you during the hardest parts of COVID? Like, or not COVID, but of this trauma that you were going through from a management of your business and these people. And what does daily Mass look like for you? Is it every day? Is it most days?
Yeah, I mean, the goal, the effort is every day, right? I mean, that's the game plan. And so I think one part is what's your plan, right? To be on top of your schedule. There's a lot of things going on. And so what I'm trying to do every day is I look at the meetings I have, I look at how I structure those, and I try to make sure I've got a little time where can I get to Mass at lunch, or can I get Mass in the morning, or can I get Mass in the evening, and trying to set goals, knowing that, hey, some days life happens, and did you put out a heroic effort to make it happen? And if you didn't, hey, that's fine. You're fighting. And I think a lot of it is, are you waking up in the morning and saying, look, the battle's on, game on. Yep. And at the end of the day, you're saying, here's an act of contrition. I screwed up. I messed up. Here's my resolution for tomorrow. Let's go do it again.
Go get 'em.
And you wake up the next day and it's on.
You seem to have a lot of pull. Do you think there's a way that you could get a 4:30 a.m. Mass for those of us who have lots of responsibility?
Well, I don't know how your relationship is with Bishop Burns after your show with him. I don't know if he still likes you or not. Though I tell you, he did send me a text because I do have, I have a little bit of a friendship with him.
Yeah.
And he sent me a text saying, hey, you should hear me. I'm on this podcast. And he said, do you know these guys? And I said, unfortunately, I do. I do know them. But he was excited. He was out promoting it.
His show was the first time, just to share on how personable he was and doing that kind of promotional work in a one-to-one scenario. First show where the videos far outpaced the just audio-only listeners. And the messages we got back from people that watched that show was how much they felt like they knew that man. I thought that was such a cool moment. I appreciate you.
Well, no, it was great because
That's
I had
awesome.
never heard some of the stories about his childhood and his family, and I thought it was super interesting.
Have you ever seen him laugh where his eyes get completely shut and he can't breathe? Because that's what Paul did to him twice.
That's
fun.
a unique spiritual gift.
It really, really was. Well, we want to give you a chance to either laugh or at least just squint your eyes in judgment by playing a game.
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
Do you want to play?
No. Let me judge. I want to bask in the varying degrees of humor.
Well, to explain
Varying.
explain to you this game that you know everything about, it's called Blessed Are the Joke Makers, for they shall inherit the points.
I feel like there should be a sound for that.
Oh, we should have, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll work on the
Go ahead,
sound
work on
for
the
it.
sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a character card and a Catholic card game card, and we have to answer the prompt, so that's fill in the blank question something as the character.
We don't know our points yet.
This one's going to be 44 points.
Now, why do you get to decide the points?
He said,
I'm the intro to the game. I'm the game master.
Okay.
he also understands spreadsheets. Paul and I are
Yeah.
very confused by numbers.
He knows math.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the and
If
again,
if we play stupid, they'll fall for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you used to be a senior financial analyst. You're probably pretty good with spreadsheets.
I used
44.
to be.
Used to be.
look at you two having an index
I know
match
it
over
is.
there.
Yeah.
All right. So I've made that joke like I think 3 times on
Yeah.
the show
That
now.
one
I probably,
landed.
I
That was
probably
good.
should have.
Actually,
that was
my
the best
favorite.
use of it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Keep swinging.
All right. So you just have to decide what tickles your fancy. It has nothing. There's no objective measure to this. All right. So here we go. So the character we're playing is an incompetent doctor, and the prompt is a Catholic's secret guilty pleasure.
All right, everyone behave themselves, all right? It's a family-friendly show.
Here?
I
Wait, an
don't-
incompetent doctor
Incompetent doctor and
talking about.
a Catholic's secret guilty pleasure.
I made my way through medical school and I learned all about really cool things, treatments and whatnot. But I got my degree from Princeton, and so I somehow got a job at a major hospital. But as a Catholic, one of my guilty pleasures is to ask people beforehand, just like, what are they nervous about? Do they think if they die, they're going anywhere special? And then when they're in surgery, I just pour a bunch of holy water on them.
That was really long.
As an incompetent doctor, I like to, when people are sleeping or in an induced coma, I like to pray a rosary on their fingers. That's my guilty pleasure.
Shazam, Shazam.
Oh, golly.
As an incompetent doctor, I always try to prescribe a good walking boot, but they say, Dr. Scholes, that doesn't make much sense. You're I don't need work boots. I just came here to see you for my teeth.
Work boots. All right, Rob. It's luck of the draw. This is not an easy one, but Gomer Pyle here.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate Nick's Dr. Scholes, though I didn't really hear what was Catholic about any of it. And then
He leaned into the incompetent
no,
doctor
I mean
part.
it was something. And then Jeff, Princeton doesn't even have a medical school.
Exactly. That's how smart I
I
am.
know. So I kind of have to default to Paul. So.
It's not a default. It's the real deal there, Paul.
Hey,
Way
congrats,
to go,
Paul. You
buddy.
backed into it.
Thank you.
You backed into it. All right, Paul. Listen, I'm going to surprise all you guys. First of all, Rob, for being our celebrity guest judge. In my personal life, I've given you more Catholic socks than anybody but myself.
That's right.
But you are getting socks from Sock Religious, our sponsor that pays us in socks. You are getting Pope Mobile socks.
Ooh.
Please tell me you don't have these.
I do not have these.
All right, it's like 17 different styles of the Pope Mobile.
Over the years.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Oldest at the top, working
It's
to the
also
newest,
kind
I
of
think.
cool
Yeah.
because these are super subtle, and unless you
Yeah.
really are like in the vibe, you're not going to know what these are.
Right.
So it's kind of like they're Catholic.
Cool
but-
car socks. What are they?
Hey, so Rob, since you got to judge us, we want to judge you for a second. I've seen a video of you before.
This sounds great. Well, peace out, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Listen, we're all going to help you with this, and we're not breaking any copyright laws because I'm not pressing play on something, but I know you do a pretty mean Backstreet Boys.
Oh, gosh. I can do this. You really want me to do this?
You're amazing
Yeah.
at this.
All right,
And this
here
will
we
be
go.
our song going out, and if anybody just wants to tune into this part, share this part because
All right.
Rob has got a voice.
All right, so this is what I'll say is there is a part of me that feels like I missed my calling in life as a boy band guy.
Okay.
So
As a boy band guy.
as a boy band,
A
I
90s
remember.
boy band
Yeah.
performer.
All right, all right, ready?
Yeah.
You are my fire, the one desire, believe when I say that I want it that way.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Tell me why.
I never want to hear you say, I want it that way.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, where's the applause?
Next on 24.
We'll see you after the break, folks.
All right.
The team at Aquinas Wealth Advisors believes that good values and good returns are not mutually exclusive. Using a tech-smart and morally sound approach, they provide investment alternatives that align with Catholic teachings without sacrificing returns. These days, faith-driven investors are finding it hard to know where their money is going. They have no visibility into what their dollars are supporting, but there's a better way. Thanks to the Faith and Finance Score from Aquinas Wealth Advisors, you can look into your current holdings to see what you're supporting and make a switch to an advisor that aligns with your values and gives power to your voice. Check out AquinasWealth.com today.
Hey y'all, this is Jeff Schuffelbein. When Nick and I set out to start our new company, Undivided Life, we were really concerned about how would we cover the healthcare needs of our growing families, and we were so excited to find a company that fit both our medical needs and our faith beliefs perfectly. It's called Solidarity Health Share. It is an ethical alternative to traditional health insurance. We're never part of sharing in the medical costs of anything that goes against the teachings of the Catholic Church, making it a great alternative for Catholics and Christians alike. Solidarity is very affordable, which is perfect for a large family or for a new and growing business like the one we've started. So visit joinsolidarity.com today so that you can get started with us.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Rob Hayes, CEO of a meme stock.
Oh,
That's right.
Meme stock.
You've been a CEO more than once?
No, it was all rolled into one.
Oh, okay.
What's your
Yeah.
description of a meme stock? You're like
Well,
a smart.
I mean, yeah, AMC and GameStop got the biggest notoriety, I would say, during the STEMI-induced
Robin Hood.
what do you call it? Casino on your phone 2021 mania, right? Wall Street Bets on Reddit is a subreddit where people were saying, I'm going to spend crazy amounts of money on call options, and maybe I lose it all, but maybe I can change my life. And
That was the whole diamond hands thing,
Yes,
right?
diamond
just
hands,
hold it.
the
Yep.
apes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, wow.
This is actually the part of the show where my wife is going to say, "No idea what you guys talked about."
I do have to
For
say, the
sure.
other day, maybe not the other day, a couple months ago, I was driving down the highway in Dallas, and a Lambo blew by me. Right,
Well, because of
I
course.
might have been going a little bit over the speed limit, and this guy was going way over the speed limit, and his license plate said THX-AMC.
Oh, wow.
So he was one of the
Yeah.
apes. He was one of the diamond hands.
Made it.
Wow.
All right.
Well, yeah. So like normally there's investing in stocks,
correct.
but meme stocks. The idea was that like the idea caught on. Over
that's
the
right.
internet,
That's
essentially.
right. We're all gonna, as a community on Reddit, we are all going to buy call options in a specific, company, and because of that and the way that markets work, there's going to be a gamma squeeze and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden a $2 share stock is going to go to 200. And
Well, and a lot of it was there was also this populist aspect of it where there were a lot of hedge funds shorting some of these stocks.
That's
And so
right, that's
it
right.
wasn't just, hey, I can make some money, which was the underlying aspect, but it was also, and we can stick it to the man, and we can take down some of these big guys
Yeah.
by doing it.
with high short interest, because then they'll have to cover, which perpetuates the squeeze higher, and it's kind of a self-reinforcing.
Paul, do you see Nick floating right now?
Oh, he's having.
This is my favorite moment of the Beatitude. Like, I'm happy.
I feel,
Wait, when Nick says that something went over his head, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
feeling it right
so-
now.
he leaned over and gave me a gamma squeeze.
Great. Yeah, I say, for those of you who had Gamma Squeeze on your Beatitudes bingo card, you can now mark it off.
We should make bingo cards.
Oh yeah.
What was it like to be a meme stock
It
president?
It was it was surreal. It was wild because one, I got to go on Squawk Box or Squawk on the City on CNBC, and you're
wow.
talking about it. So there's a video, you can go find it out on YouTube.
You
or
didn't
somewhere.
sing on that one.
I did not sing on that one, but it was interesting because it was definitely a thing, and frankly, it was a big help to our company because our stock price went up. It allowed me to raise capital at much more attractive valuation. So it played a role in helping our company continue to exist.
That was not part of the chief strategy officer
That was
play,
that
right?
was not in my own bingo card.
Your
of-
username on Reddit is what? Check the history.
yeah. So
Don't.
yes. So it was something that was unprecedented.
Yeah.
And
sure.
but in some sense very grateful for it because it very much helped my company. I don't know why we were chosen. I don't know how it happened. It just sort of happened. It was a thing, and then before you knew it, it was over. I mean, it was this like very brief moment in time. So there's only a couple of these stocks that are still within that realm, and even they have cooled off quite a bit. But it was this really weird combination because there was a lot of stimulus money. There was this new technology of being able to trade on your phone. There was kind of a gamification of it. There was everyone's locked in their
They're
homes
sitting
for
at home.
COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What
Their,
else are you gonna-
their jobs have slowed down, or they've been let go, or they're trying to make money somehow.
Yeah.
Like, kind of the perfect storm.
So you can't. Needless to say, the last 3 years. Maybe at some point I have to write a book or something about it because it seems ridiculous all the things that have happened to our company.
Yeah.
But again, there's a certain amount of gratitude you have to have because you just can't learn these things. I mean, would I know what a gamma squeeze is? Who knows?
What's the SEC like? Past performance does not something something.
Does not does not predict future
Yeah.
something.
Paul and I got this.
You got it.
But I do think when you're on Squawk Box and I'm like, Rob, why do you think this is happening to you? You had the perfect chance to say, don't know why. And you could have just gone.
And then kind of like open button my shirt and
Don't know why.
Can you tell me why?
Now that if I had done that, my stock probably would have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Personal and
Like
your
it
business.
would have been a big deal.
We turned into a meme stock.
Tell me why.
I'm sitting here on Squawk Box.
Nice.
Okay, and so the other thing I would say to all that is if you would have done that, you actually probably could have had that career that you always wanted.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
I could have been somebody.
speaking of
Could've been a contender.
speaking of very deep thought questions, I don't know how I'm doing this transition, but we're going to do our TBD question with you. So all four of us answer, and you can play along at home, and this includes you, Christopher, in the comments. So the question today is, what is something that you want more of in your life? I think after that singing, I want more of that. But
Lying is a sin, Jeff.
yes. Does anybody want to go first? What is something you want more of in your life? And this episode airs right before Christmas, so that's an interesting time for this too. What is something you want more of in your life?
Well, I could jump in.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of twofold. Part of it's on me. Really, I want to have just more discipline with waking up earlier and praying earlier. But then I've been doing some of that recently, and in fact, with doing the St. Michael's Lent and doing all of that, that kind of primed the pump for me on that and getting me to where it's, the intentionality of the prayer life actually got me realizing, oh yeah, this is good. I need to really soak this in versus just kind of finding time for prayer throughout the day, which was the habit I had fallen into was just, all right, well, I have some time, so now I'll pray, or I'm stuck in traffic, or let me pray a rosary on my drive, which none of those things are bad, but it just, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't putting it first. It wasn't the priority. And so, yeah, I want to, want to be way more intentional about that, especially during, this time with Advent and the Christmas season and all of that coming up.
Cool. I think for me, I've loved reading for most of my life, and I've just found with the way I'm modeling work and home and trying to prioritize kids and other stuff, I'm just not getting that reading time in. And look, I do some of my spiritual reading, but there's hardly any of the novels and the other stuff that I still enjoy. Like a good classic novel every once in a while is fun to read. So
Yeah.
some more reading.
I just finished Tennyson's Idylls of the King.
How was it?
It's wonderful.
Delicious.
Poetry. It was delicious. It was delicious. It's delightful. I'm a nerd. I love to read, and so I typically always have a classic novel or poetry or something I'm reading.
Very cool.
So-
And what do you want more of in your life right now, Rob?
I need more purposefulness, probably with family life. My temperament is one where I'm pretty easygoing on a lot of things, and so I think many times if things aren't burning to the ground or aren't a disaster, I just kind of ignore them or just assume that everything's going fine.
All good.
Yeah, and it's easy to do that because I got other things I'm working on that maybe aren't going as well. But I do think, particularly coming into the Christmas season to Advent, and also I just had my first son leave the house, right? So he's off at college in Notre Dame, and now he came back to visit for Thanksgiving for the first time, and it makes you a little bit reflective of, oh, I really am sending adults out into the world. Am I being purposeful enough in the formation of my children? And so I think I need to continue to refocus on that.
It's a great one. I'll take your reading. You take my intentionality.
Deal.
Trade.
For me, I think it's just a daily focus, 5 minutes. And I used to do this more. I want to bring more of it back into my life where it's just define success for today. Because I think, as you know, Jeff, I can be an executor and get the next thing, wake up and just start doing. And I think being just a little bit more purposeful in that.
And Rob, just to clarify, I'm actually not that good at the home part either. I just wanted to
That's right.
feel good. Well, hey, so it is Christmas season, and we're happy to be able to celebrate with you here, Rob. We're going to finish this show with a reverse Simpsons, treating this show differently than any other finish we've ever had. We're doing a special game. I'll let these guys explain it to you while I get everything ready.
Yeah, I had the idea to make it a Secret Santa. I found the perfect gift for my Secret Santa, and then I said, I'll just be Game Master. And we got a few different packages here that are pretty fun. If you're on YouTube, you can see some pretty creative and delightful wrapping. And I guess
Here's
To
the
get-
question.
I was gonna say,
This,
to get
this
us-
is the worst wrapping paper you could possibly have.
So let's take a
Talk
look.
about like what wouldn't sell in the store.
Please describe this one, Rob.
This is the unfortunate case of your cartoon face, which is decent enough, and then my
LinkedIn profile.
LinkedIn profile picture.
But alternating.
But I will
alternating,
I will say, Rob, you've got the internet locked down. There were not a lot of images of you out there.
That's pretty impressive for how meme you've been.
You just got to do what you got to do sometimes.
It was like LinkedIn image. I look on Facebook. Also the LinkedIn image.
Hey, we kind of, it's a small group. Do we know who we're getting our gift from? Or you just,
You don't. I do.
Okay.
So I would say start.
let's do Rob last, because
Yeah.
this one says to Rob.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'd say Jeff.
The one that has Rob's picture on it is for me.
Because yes, it also has your picture on it because it's the show with Rob, but there's a gift for Jeff.
Okay.
Now, it's also kind of hilarious that it's only gift wrapped on one side of the box, or two sides of the box.
Just for the camera.
Just for the camera.
I think legit rapping for a podcast where I have to open it in front of everybody is a little obnoxious. Okay.
That's why I did.
Oh my
It was me.
goodness. What is this? It says Santa, stop, collaborate, and listen.
Hey Jeff,
Oh,
press,
does it please
press,
dance?
press
Please
the
dance.
right foot.
Yes. All right. And listen. Invention something. Grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know.
Oh, he just skipped.
Yeah, he kind of
Oh.
skips around.
Come on.
I saw this,
Snowman.
Jeff, and I thought, I'm buying this for Jeff.
Rob.
1,000%.
Rob and listeners, I've been on the radio with Paul for 3 years, and we have a competition on there. And every time I've ever won, it's because I've played a new rendition of Ice Ice Baby in different languages with different words. And every time I've ever lost was every other time. And when Paul is performing on stage with the improv troupe 4-day weekend, I will always write comments in, and they somehow get picked. And I'll butcher the words to Ice Ice Baby, and it makes the people on stage like, "Oh, you got to be kidding!" Because it'll say,
Stop, coordinate, and listen.
Stop, calibrate,
Oh,
and
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
they're like, "Whoever wrote this didn't even get it right."
But I always know who it is.
He can't make eye contact
Oh, I
with me during
know.
the show. Well, you're my Secret Santa
It
giver.
was from me.
Yes. You
Yep.
kind of told
That
me
kicked the whole thing
But
off. Yeah.
thank you for my party snowman.
And again, for those Beatitude listeners, for those you had Vanilla Ice on your bingo card, you can mark that off as well.
Actually, that
That one
might
comes
be,
up often.
That's a
yeah,
free space,
yeah.
I think.
Everybody gets it. All right, I'm going to keep him right here. All right,
Yeah.
Nice.
Rob's going last. Who is this gift is for Nick. Is
Yes.
what it
Nick.
says there. It says made in China, but I know it's for Nick.
Yes.
Nick also is the game master,
It's
so he
okay.
knows.
I know.
Secret Santa was just effort. All right, what do we got going here? You're opening up
Got
a mug.
Yes, let's go. It's a mug that says, "Ooh, this calls for a spreadsheet."
Ooh, I like that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Like to say like Gamma Squeeze anywhere.
Yeah,
He'll
No,
write
I'll
it.
get there.
Couldn't update it that fast, but yes,
That is awesome.
from me.
That showed up to the studio today post haste.
Yes.
Good job. You got it in just in time.
I did, just barely.
All right, Paul, you're up.
All right, Paul, this is yours.
Oh, this is me. Okay, here we go. Ooh, it has glitter on it.
I think this one, it's unfortunately in the box. You got to open the box, but I do think it's even more particularly appropriate than I was ever hoping.
Oh, wow, I'm very curious as
What
what's
is
going on here.
This is real deal, and I tested.
What? It's a golden microphone.
It's a karaoke machine. You can sync it to Bluetooth, and it's a and so
It plays the song.
it plays the song, and it
Wow.
sparkles and all kinds of stuff.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? Wow, this is crazy.
He's actually going to find a way to like Bluetooth it into our
absolutely.
Roadcaster, so he never has to use this mic again. He's just going to be on the golden
I'm the
handheld.
gold.
It has echo features.
yeah. Oh, there's music. I
ordered that and I tested it in my kitchen with my children, and they're me like, "Dad, we have to have this for Christmas."
This is awesome. Wow, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Dude, these are some great gifts. All right, and for you, Mr. Hayes.
All right.
All right, here's your keep your box right here. All right, you were opening the one that has our 3 faces on it, but not yours.
That's all right. Well, that makes it better.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Wrapping might be worth more than anything. All right, what are we seeing here?
It's
you got to pull this all
I got
the
to
way
pull
out.
the thing up. I don't want to just
Yeah.
dump everything out. Oh, hey.
Hey.
Hey, that's inside information right there.
I know. I used it.
Oh, all right.
is it?
So I
It's
have
a
to.
family puzzle.
All right, a family puzzle.
Let me hold up the picture while you're talking for
All
a
right.
second.
So this was something that years ago.
so
for
first for these guys to see.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, I'm going to
Okay.
show you because you're on YouTube.
All right, so it's an icon. So I, in my youth, lived in Rome. So I studied philosophy at Santa Croce in Rome. And my wife, before we got married, also worked in Rome. So she was at the State Department at the U.S. Embassy to the Holy See. And so we would always talk about how when we were walking down the streets of Rome, you would see these Madonelles, like the little pictures of Mary all over these street corners.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why don't we have these in the U.S.? And so, and as you guys know, we do host a decent number of events in our home. And so we said, you know what? Let's hire a artist to create a painting, an icon. So this is and we live on a street with cottonwoods. So we call it Our Lady of Cottonwoods. And so it's Our Lady with baby Jesus, and it's got a cottonwood branch. It also, she's wearing on her finger a rose. It's called the Rose of Rialp, which was a rose that St. Josemaria, when he was crossing the Alps, or crossing the Pyrenees, he found. And so it's kind of a symbol for people in Opus Dei, and even the little book has the Opus Dei symbol on it. And so there's some other little images on there. But so the artist just recently finished it, and so we're going to be hanging it in our home. But I'm also having a version created that is exterior, and we're going to put it on our fence.
Oh, cool.
On
Main road.
on
yeah.
a main road in our city, so that it's an image of Our Lady that's for public, I guess,
Awesome.
veneration.
That is so cool.
So the fact that you've got a puzzle with this is really cool.
It's for the family.
That is awesome.
Well,
Very,
and
very
it's
cool.
funny because when I entered it in, like to have the puzzle made, it's like, this is not a high definition image. I'm like, that's cool because I stole it from somebody's website. Like, this is just for something fun. Let me print it.
That's very, very
Awesome.
cool.
All right. Well, listen, Merry Christmas to all of you. Stick around. The bonus show on Friday, we're going to be diving into more conversations around family. A little teaser here for you. But, Rob, this has been awesome. Thanks for singing with us, playing with us. And for all of you, we will see you. Well, I'm butchering the end of this, but Paul?
We will see you in the Eucharist.
God bless. It's pathetic.
It's awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @, so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @the_Beatitudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.